Okay. Sorry, the first one didn't work. I don't know why. I had to restart a new one. So hopefully people can find their way over here. I don't know. Let me see if I need to close a different one, maybe. Hmm. Let's see. Okay. Okay, great. We've got someone. Hello. Okay, so wait, what did I just do? Start asking questions. I'm glad I'm able to do these again. Um, Thank you for letting me take a month off to move, but we are in our new place. I'm still figuring out all of the setup here, but hopefully everything is going to run smoothly tonight. And please make sure to let me know if you can hear me well or not, whatever. Hello from Panama. Hello. I want to visit Panama. Mostly I want to go through the canal because I think it looks so interesting. I'm really interested by boats and mechanics and things like that. So it's not raining here at the moment. It's very, very, very windy. It's like incredibly, incredibly windy. So okay, Alistair says, hello, do you recommend a website that's best to make sure I have all of my correct paperwork together moving from the US? So what I will say on my website, CassieTheEnglishTeacher.com, I have a list of English speaking providers. On that list, Aldo is on there. His website has a lot of information, like he has long lists. Sometimes I think maybe too much information. I'll put his website in the comments here. That will give you an idea, but I would highly, highly recommend working with a relocation specialist or agency or something. I have two that I recommend on that same list, Aldo and Magdalena. I would talk with somebody to make sure that you have the right paperwork because the paperwork for each person might be slightly different. For example, if you're a single person and you've never been married, it's pretty straightforward. I need my birth certificate, I need a background check, I need my health card, vaccination record, and proof of income, and that's pretty much it. If you have kids, though, suddenly there's a lot more paperwork that's needed. If you have been married, you then need obviously your marriage certificate. If you have been married and then divorced, you might need more documentation. If you have changed your name at any point, you need documentation for that. So, Alistair, there is kind of a general list, but it's going to be very, very specific to each family. So you want to get involved with somebody as quickly as possible so they can help you start gathering those things. Does that make sense? Let's see. Oh man, Stacy asked, "Hi Cassie, I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on this week's visa news from the US. Do you think US citizens have issues getting residency?" I was really, really unhappy with that news. And honestly, in the world that we live in, I don't know. Um, Uruguay still has a shrinking population and they still need immigrants. They still want immigrants. They want immigrants that have jobs that can add to the economy. So my hope is that they won't do something retaliatory back towards the US. Um, but nobody really knows. I mean, we just don't know. I don't if this makes sense, it kind of seems to it would go counter to Uruguayan culture a little bit to be like retaliatory like that. Um, because again, like a lot of times people will refer to Uruguay as the Switzerland of South America. So they generally try to stay out of the drama. So I hope that it will not um, give us issues. It is the very first time I've ever seen any kind of graffiti saying like Yankees stay out of Latin America since I've been here. Shanki here they do say gringo sometimes, but I hear Shanki a lot more for United Statesians. And so I have seen that. And so there definitely is, it's the first time in 2.5 years that I've seen any like outward signs that people are irritated with the US. But I mean, fingers crossed it will not affect things. But we'll see. Oh, somebody asked what the visa problem is. So the United States well, Trump listed, I think, 85 countries. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but expanded the list of countries where they won't allow people to get an immigration visa to the US, and Uruguay is on that list. So, and we haven't been for a while. Like Uruguayans have needed a visa to travel to the US or to go visit family or whatnot, but um, there's been a pretty good relationship, so it's new and very annoying. So I don't know enough about the inner workings of the Uruguayan government to like give a very detailed answer on that. I'm hoping for the best, really. Yeah, I will say that it's been really interesting as I've been doing this and as I've helped people move here um, over the last, gosh, year and a half. Um, before election day and like around election day, really, it was mostly people who are trans or LGBTQ who were who I was talking to who were saying, "Oh, he got reelected. I need to get out." But now, over time, it's really shifted, and now I'm talking to, you know, white cishet, um, normal people who are saying, "I just don't think the country's going in a good direction, and I'd like to not participate." And it's been a sad realization, but I mean, eventually they scapegoat certain groups at first, but eventually it gets everyone. Thank you so much. Congratulations on our new home. Yay. I'm so happy. I love it. It's been nice to entertain again because we lived in a very tiny apartment and I love to cook and I love to have people over. And our house is kind of cool because it has a lot of levels. And so, especially, we have a lot of friends with kids. So everyone can like kind of go off to their little sections of the house. The preteens can hang out in one room, and the young boys can hang out in another room, and the adults can be downstairs or cooking on the roof. So it's been just amazing. And my husband is beyond, beyond, beyond happy again that he has a grill. So he has like a parrillero, is what they call it here. It's built into the house, and it's a very particular way to grill. Um, and so he's been doing asados for people like almost every weekend, sometimes twice in a weekend, because he's so, 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 so happy that he can grill again. So it's really fun. And our rooftop is lovely because we're on the top of a hill. So even though it's summer, it's got a nice breeze. It's really cool, very nice. So anyway, thank you. The next video that I'll be filming this week is going to be about education. I am going to be interviewing someone who knows a lot more about the education system. I do work in it, and my kids are in it, but an Uruguayan who has worked in it for a long time. He's going to do a video with me explaining like how to enroll your kids in public school, what the process is like, what to expect, all of those kinds of things. So if you have any questions, if you have kids and you intend to put them in public school, if you have any questions, put them in the chat, and then I will make sure that we address them in that video, because it's one of those things that it sounds really complicated, but it's really not. Here, public education is a right to all students, and so you can definitely enroll in public school. And they've even done some programs. They've started some programs for teaching Spanish to students who don't speak Spanish yet when they arrive. So we are seeing some changes, and we're seeing some acceptance of that, and or just acknowledgement that, hey, we need to do something for these kids. So that's exciting. Okay, any more questions? While I'm waiting, I just was having a consultation earlier today, and she asked, like, when packing and bringing a limited item of things, what should we prioritize? I'm sure we've talked about this before, but it's like comes up all of the time. So something I will say is clothing. If you are an unusual size, meaning your like bras, if you are large chested, or if you are over an extra large, bringing that clothing with you is going to be really important. Bringing your favorite underwear, stuff like that, that's going to make you comfortable and not take up a lot of space in your suitcase. Shoes are really good to bring, because shoes here are really expensive, and even the expensive ones do fall apart quickly. So, because you're going to be walking a lot more than you might be used to in the US. So I told her, like, she has a kid. I said, brand new pair of nice tennis shoes for your kid that fit now and the next size up. Definitely bring both of those. So, okay, Stacy says, what's your favorite summer thing to do? We have been moving, so it's been difficult. I think what I'm loving about this summer, though, a lot more people from the United States have moved here, and we have this gaggle of kids, and there tend to be like a lot of them that are my kids' age. So we have like a lot in that preteen age right now, and preteen or young teen age. And we kind of all live in a certain area. So I am really enjoying this thing that's happening where like random kids are just showing up in my house, or like my kids come in, they're like, "Hey, we're going to the park." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And yeah, because we arranged it with our, your friend's daughter. They're going to the park across the street. We're going to go. We'll come back when we're done. And they're just kind of having this very unstructured summer that is, but always with friends and doing things. So it's been a good summer, even though I'm always moving, the kids are having fun. Um, Speaking of the kids, you might hear them. They just came in downstairs. So we're gonna see how sound regulating being 2 floors up is. Um, I need to consider a video about elder care options. I really, really do. I need to meet with some people about that I could interview, um, for sure. I need to do that though, because it is a concern. I mean, if you move here and you intend to stay here, it is something you're going to have to address at some point. So thank you for continuing to remind me about that. But I've just got to find the right person to talk about that. Hopefully, if I can find somebody who can speak some English, otherwise, I have to get my husband involved as a translator. Because although I do okay at Spanish, I feel like that would be a lot of vocabulary I would not know. Yeah, Jason. Well, talk to them and ask them if they want to do a video. I do see a lot of them, so I mean they exist. I don't know what I don't know if they're as, you know, I think the ones in the US can sometimes be very predatory. So I don't know if they're that way, or how expensive they are, or how it all works, but I will start asking around and try to find something out. Yeah. I've seen some that look really lovely, but whew, strategies for not getting discouraged when struggling to learn Spanish. So, what I would do is pick a few songs in Spanish that you really like and learn to sing them. And that will help you with your pronunciation a lot. That's how I haven't really taken a Spanish class. I just learned Spanish kind of piecemeal from my husband. And a lot of it was listening to music in Spanish. And it's actually quite a lot easier to sing with the correct accent than speak. And if you can, because I think a lot of times that's what's discouraging, is it feels like we're not pronouncing the words correctly. Um, the other thing is you just kind of have to um, talk to a lot of people and find the people who will be kind to you and speak slowly for you and really work with you. That's why I always say, like, my best friend is at the Almas Inn, because she is really sweet and really kind, and she speaks very clearly. And she can tell when I don't understand, and she would stop, repeat, which word do you not understand? And like explain that word. You know what I mean? And I learned really quickly that way. Um, but she's one in like 100. I mean, most Uruguayans, even if you're like por favor, más despacio. It they they don't. So, it's just finding those people and then treating them really well and appreciating that you can talk with them a little bit. Yeah, and what Jason said, it's a journey. So you're getting a little bit better day by day, little by little, you know. And it also is kind of a J curve. I watched my kids, they started out at 7 and 9. So, like, their brains are supposed to learn Spanish faster than us, right? Their first year in school, I mean, really not a lot was happening quickly. And I was starting to get worried, like, oh no, what if they don't learn? And then it was like their second year in school, whew, like all of a sudden everything started clicking into place. So you might just be about to hit a breakthrough. So you just have to keep chugging along at it and trying and trying and trying. Um, yeah, it takes a long time, but you can get there. And it's nice here in Uruguay because, of course, in every place, there's going to be a few jerks, but most people here, if you are trying at all, they're really kind and they might not be able to slow down or use different words, but they won't be ugly to you. You know what I mean? They'll still try to really, really, really help you. Um, Another thing I would say is not always using the translation app, but I found it more reliable if I don't know the word for something. I'll pull up a photo of the thing on my phone. And, like, if I'm at the store, I'll say, Estoy buscando esto. And it's like a photo of, I don't know, a lamp, right? And I don't know, no sé cómo se dice, pero necesito eso. And then well, oh, lámpara. Vamos. So, sometimes the translation app isn't so great here in Uruguay because the words are way, way, way different. But a picture says 1,000 words, right? Yeah. Yep. It happens. It takes forever and then overnight. So, oh, Stacy, that's so sweet. That is, so Stacy says a pharmacist walked her across the street to another store to help her out. That is such an Uruguayan story. Like, people will just help you and, like, realize that you need extra assistance and they'll take time out of their day to help you. Again, not every single Uruguayan, but there are a lot of really kind people who will really help you. And especially if you're humble and kind, um, you know, again, every time you see anyone, you need to greet them, hola, buen dia, like something, acknowledge them, be very personable, and then, yeah, you can definitely be helped. Um, Yeah, I agree with Jason that listening is definitely the most important and the most difficult. That's why I always do kind of say it, Duolingo and things like that. They can help a little bit, but you need an Uruguayan tutor. On my website, I recommend Ignacio Medina. He's great. Um, there are other Uruguayan Spanish tutors. But listening to this dialect and this accent and these words is going to be really key. Jason, go ahead. Put the website. That's fine. This is for everyone to help each other. It's not my feed. It's here to be a help. I tend to like go on TikTok and I find certain TikTokers. It, I mean, once you're here, it will TikTok will serve you Uruguayan TikTokers. And there's a couple, like there's one guy who does like history lessons, but he speaks really, really clearly, and the words are on the screen, so you can listen to it over and over again. You can slow it down, like you can pause it, translate the words, and that's really helpful. And because I'm already listening to TikTok, I force myself to stop and watch that video and make sure I understand everything in the video. It's like a mini Spanish lesson that I force myself to do. So, okay. Somebody said, do I find my kids' English is suffering a bit from being almost fully immersed in Spanish, or that it may not be fully developing to its full potential? I don't, because we are taking active measures. So, first of all, school here, primary school is 4 hours a day. So, my kids have to do morning lessons. They do some science, programming, and math lessons that are in English. They also have to read books in English. My daughter really loves Lord of the Rings. We read to them in English. Also, like we are a family that likes to read. Um, I will say, like they do have the. I think this is common with any bilingual person. Like my son will be telling me a story, and he'll be like in English and da 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 da. I forgot the English word for it. You know, but that's okay. They're going to be fine. Um, they it's much more beneficial to be bilingual than to be like an English professor. You know what I mean? Is my opinion anyway. But their English is fine. They talk to their grandma, a lot in the U.S. and I only speak English to them. Well, I speak a mix of Spanish now, but mostly speak English to them. So they're getting it. I also have really smart kids. I know every parent thinks they have smart kids, but I objectively do have smart kids. So, okay. Jason's saying the Dreaming Spanish site. Okay. Okay, Dreaming Spanish. I'm going to take a picture of that. That was so boomer of me, but. Oh, I do have a pen. I guess I could write it down. Dreaming Spanish. Thank you, Jason. Jason, also, you gave us all those boxes, and I thought that there's no way we're going to use all of these boxes. And then we ended up having to like use all the boxes and then come unpack some and take some back to back more boxes. So you saved our bacon on that move, man. So someone asked, so my kids go to a bilingual school in Montevideo? No, they go to a public school that is only in English. Nobody there speaks, I'm sorry, only in Spanish. Nobody there speaks English except the English teacher. That's like an hour a week elective. So while they're at school, everything's in Spanish. While they're at any sports practice, everything's in Spanish. While they're with their friends, everything's in Spanish. So, well, Jason, the every school kid in Uruguay studies English. That is a new thing. I want to say it's 10 years old. That ANEP made a huge push that every single Uruguayan public school student should study a second language. Mostly English. There are some who study Portuguese, especially more on like the Brazilian border. But yeah, the school kids now are studying English, but it wasn't always that way. So it does kind of, you can kind of tell like a lot of younger people in customer service or something. If you can tell someone's a little bit younger, they will usually speak more English. They don't maybe want to, but they will. So, um, Jason, do you want to answer Craig's question about the shipping container to move their stuff? Because it seems like you had a pretty good experience with yours. Okay. Someone says, do you think your kids have fully adapted to their new country? If yes, how long did that take? Or do they wish they could go back to the US? I think they have adapted pretty well, especially my son. My son really loves it here. Like he really loves it here. He learned Spanish the most quickly out of all of us. He just really he loves the food. He loves the culture. He's very like cuddly, touchy feely. So and like here, boys can like hug on each other and be sweet to each other. So I think he really loves that. Um, I think my daughter could live anywhere. Um, she has a lot of interests and she can talk about anything with anyone. So I think like both of them are doing well. Um, I think that actually, if we move back to the US, it might be kind of hard for them at this point. Because, like I just was talking about earlier, we're having this very like free summer where I haven't put them in any camps or anything like that. They've just got all of these friends in the neighborhood and they just kind of like go to each other's houses or like, hey, let's meet up at the park. Let's all go to the mall and walk around. Like, and they're having this mega amount of freedom because they can walk, anywhere. And like we live pretty close to all of these places. So, um, my 11-year-old turns 12 soon. I think pretty much within a few months, I'm going to be like, yeah, walk. I mean, as long as you're within, a 5 block radius, you can walk wherever you want and visit your friends' houses. Like, there's a certain level of freedom that they have here that they wouldn't. I mean, in the suburbs of Texas, your friends live a 30-minute drive away. You're not like chatting with them on WhatsApp and being like, hey, you want to go fly kites at the park? Let's head over, you know? So I think that they are adapting pretty well. It took a couple years. I will say, like, I think this past school year was when I really felt like they understood everything that was going on. They like made friends, made like good friends that had sleepovers, things like that, participated in the school play, things like that. So I think the most important thing you can do if you are bringing kids into a new country, and I don't think this is just Uruguay, I think it's everywhere, is recognizing like this is going to be really hard. It's a hard thing. So when they're upset, not minimizing that at all. When things feel hard, letting them feel hard. And then just constantly saying to them, like, oh, yeah, no, this is objectively hard, but it's a good thing that you are objectively very capable. Like, you can do this. I know you can, or I wouldn't have moved you here. Like, I know that you're a smart, capable kid. So you're going to figure this out and it's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it, right? Like, and kind of giving them that attitude of not stop complaining, stop that. It's hard and that's okay. And someday in the future, it's going to be worth it to you. So that's been enough ranting about that. Jason is in the comments. He's like giving a lot of information about um, bringing the container. So if you're interested in the container, and I think that the re-recording of this that is posted, I think I figured out how to keep the chat in the video. So hopefully, if that's interesting to you, you can see it. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Someone says, I'm in my 50s with some health conditions. Is there somewhere you would recommend to look for insurance or mutualista and compare options? Yes. On my website, CassieTheEnglishTeacher.com, if you go to the Uruguay tab, there is a downloadable PDF called English Speaking Providers. Okay, it's free. You just download the PDF. There is a doctor on there, and she will do like a video consult with you, and you can tell her what you like, the medications you take, and she'll let you know. She'll assure you that they're here or tell you if they're here. She will tell you what mutualista is best for what conditions you have, because like some are better at things than others. And she will give you an idea of like if there's going to be a joining fee or any kind of like what joining a mutualista is going to look like. She's a doctor. She's great. I have sent dozens of people to her, and I've only heard, oh my God, she's an angel. So definitely go to the website. I can't respond to that message. But I'll do that's my website, CassieTheEnglishTeacher.com, and Uruguay. And meet with her, English speaking providers. She's so, so great. Stacy has a counter to Jason here. So moving our stuff is one thing I wouldn't do again. It would have been less expensive to buy new here. Yeah, Stacy, that was the math that my husband and I did. It was just our stuff was not worth the amount that it would take to move it down. Now, would it be nice to have some of our like sentimental stuff? Yes. I would have really loved to bring my sentimental stuff, and I really would have liked to bring all of my like cast iron and stainless, like good stainless steel pans. But I have just been able to buy all of that again at a fraction of the cost of bringing it all down. So for us, no, it wasn't. You definitely have to do the math and see, I had friends who had like, a drum set that was really important to them or that was really expensive. So, okay, well, that maybe is worth it. But anyway, Jason. Yeah, and with your stuff, it is like I will say, like my friends who did ship their stuff down, when I go to their houses, it does feel more homey than the furnished apartment that we rented at first. Now that we're in a house and I'm like decorating it, I am decorating it with new stuff, but it is like us, and we do have like our photos up on the wall again, which is definitely making us feel like a lot more settled than we were feeling in a furnished apartment. Yeah, Jason, thank you. See, you saved me so much money on boxes. I would have had to figure out where to even buy boxes. That would have been a whole thing. And I've saved them all too. So the next time someone moves, I'm going to be like, hey, I've got a load of boxes for you. But yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Just your address is just floating around Montevideo every time someone moves. um, but yeah, bringing your stuff. Also, if you're new here, I recently discovered Bavastro. This is like a auction house, and you can buy furniture there, like old furniture, good furniture. I like old, solid furniture. I don't like IKEA bullshit furniture. Sorry. Um, I like really nice pieces of furniture with character, you know? And Bavastro is an online, well, it's an in-person place, but you go online and you can make bids. We bought our dining room looks very medieval because our house is 100 years old. So our dining room is very dark wood and rustic and has this like rustic chandelier. And I thought, oh my gosh, like a big giant tapestry would look cool on the wall. And happened to find one at Bavastro of a flamenco scene, like this giant tapestry. So I went to get it yesterday. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to come back here so many times. It's so great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, Jason, is like, why would you ship something from IKEA? It's going to fall apart in the container probably. But if you do have solid wood, good furniture that's not wrecked, you know, maybe it's worth the money. Maybe it's a wash, but then you feel you've got your stuff. There's something to that, you know. I left a desk behind that I miss every day. So, you know, there's some things, some sacrifices we make. Oh, the hallway shoe cabinets. Those are nice. We have to wear shoes in our house because the bedrooms are so old and they were wood floors that have not been like maintained. So if you walk along them, you get splinters in your feet. We learned this the hard way when we first moved in. So we are wearing shoes around the house until we have the money to fix that. So yeah, it's it's like they just put like 2x4s down and nailed them down, you know, 50 years ago or something because they are not sealed in any way. Jason, AB Moving should start giving you kickbacks, man. Or at least Aldo. Hmm. Earth Moving taped the heck out of those boxes too. I thought that was the name of the company you use because there was so much Earth Moving tape everywhere. Okay. Oh, nice. Cool. I'll wait for a couple of more questions. We do have Carnival coming up, so if you are already here, or if you're going to be moving here in the next few weeks, you're going to want to look for Carnaval activities. My favorite is the chamadas, spelled like this. This is a massive parade. It starts at like 8 o'clock at night and it goes until like 2:30 in the morning. It's so much fun. I stayed out. I stayed out till the end of the parade, and then my friends and I went to the beach until like 6 a.m. last year at the Shamada. So that it was a very, very fun night. It's drums and dancers, and there's a lot of cultural significance to everything. And I will make a video all about it at some point. There's also the murgas. Yeah. The murgas are harder to understand if you don't speak Spanish because they are generally very satirical. But it is kind of like drag and dancing and singing and performing and satire, and it's really fun. I like the ones that perform at the Velodromo, which is kind of like in the center of town, like near Centennial Stadium. You can get tickets to that. They're not very expensive tickets. And the Velodromo is really big and they have seats. So you actually buy seats, but you can actually buy like open seating on the sides and bring like a picnic and sit in the grass. Something that's fun because it's at the Velodromo. That's like the racing thing, and so they've got the high like the ramps. So like my kids immediately got bored. They were really not having it, and my husband took them up to the ramps, and all of the other kids who were also bored had cardboard, and they were just like sliding down the ramps over and over and over again. So like I got to watch the murgas, and my kids got to slide down and make all of these Uruguayan kid friends sliding down these ramps on cardboard. Which then later I was telling my friend Ignacio, and he said, "Oh, well, then that makes them the most Montevidean kids because that's like a quintessential memory of childhood is racing down the velodromo on cardboard." So anyway, murgas are fun. The chamadas are fun. There are also like little events all throughout town. If you don't want to stay up that late, there will be like Parque de la Amistad is like this huge, like where the zoo and planetarium is. They have a murgas during the middle of the day for the kids, and they'll have like the drums and everything out, and the kids will be dancing, but it's at like 2 p.m., so you can do things with the kids too. Okay. I don't know anything about importing a vehicle. I think it would probably be a pain. I want to say it has to be like an almost brand new vehicle, but don't quote me on that. Yes, Jason, they are they are satirical. So even if you understand Spanish, if you are new to Uruguay, they don't make a lot of sense, but they're still really fun because they're still, in costume and singing and dancing and juggling, and it's still fun. I love going. Okay, good. Dog poop in the sidewalks is very annoying. That is like one of the top 10 gripes about Montevideo. Um, there's a lot of dogs and they make a lot of poop. My neighbor has a sign out that says free yoga classes. Like basically, the pose is bend over and pick up your dog's poop. This pose is called being a good neighbor. But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of dog poo on the sidewalks. Very annoying. One of my big gripes. Yeah, I think you should go to the murgas and try to understand, and maybe, I mean, if you have a friend who likes you enough to explain what's going on, you know, that could be helpful too. Oh man, I this year, whew, I'm definitely going to go this year because with all of the stuff that's happening with Trump, I bet there's probably going to be some more obvious satire to us Shankies that we would than normal years. Unfortunately, that sucks, but yeah, the live ones are great. They're so much fun. And at the Velodromo, they will have like, I mean, it's an event, so they have, food trucks and you can buy beer and wine and things like that and, make it a whole event. It's lovely. It's lovely. Carnival is lovely here because it lasts a long time. There's a lot of different things to do, but it's not like crazy, if that makes sense. Like even the chamadas that are, 8 to 2:30, even then, I mean, it's fun, it's loud, you're dancing, but like I didn't see people getting like rowdy. And like I never felt afraid, if that makes sense. Like obviously I had my wallet and my phone and everything very protected. Like I mean, theft is always an issue, but I was not like afraid a fight was going to break out or anything like that. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much do I understand now the local Spanish accent, even when they go fast? I mean, I'm catching maybe 60%. So I have made it a habit now. I will clarify afterwards. I'll say, what I'm understanding is da 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 da. And that gives them, if I've misunderstood, no, 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 no. I'm saying this, and they'll phrase it a different way. That's very helpful. I also record like conversations with doctors or contractors because I don't, you know, like that one little word could totally change the meaning of something. So it's very helpful to record that and then be able to listen to it over and over and over again. And even sometimes my husband, whose first language is Spanish, with some of these contractors, he's like, I still don't know what that guy said. He's mumbling. So it it is what it is. Yeah. I can understand women more than men, generally speaking. Customer service people, I can understand more than like a contractor or someone, generally speaking. Someone says, Hi, Cassie. Hello. Have you noticed an increase in Anglo migration to Uruguay lately? I mean, yes. All I can say is that, my little group that I started in January with 6 people is now 124 people, my little WhatsApp group. And that is an LGBTQ group, so it doesn't even include like Jason's not in it. A lot of other people who have moved here are not in it. So yeah, there is quite a bit. Um, because and it's a really interesting, like I almost want to make a whole video about this, but it's really not helpful in moving to Uruguay. So I don't know if I will. Maybe I'll make a TikTok. But if you think about like the reasons people migrate to a place, um, like if I think about an immigrant in the US, like there's the trope of like the immigrant parent, right? My husband had an immigrant dad who was like, do well in school, make more money, get a science degree, get a physics degree, get an engineering degree, go make a lot of money, go make a lot of money. That's why we brought you to the US, so you can make money. Like that's the immigrant drawn to the US, right? Like make it, make it, make it. Um Here, basically all of the immigrants that I meet coming to Uruguay, not even just from the US, also from Venezuela, from Cuba, from Eastern Europe, from India, from all kinds of places all over the world that I've met. Um, they come here because they want peace and they've heard that this is a very peaceful, calm country. Anyone who brings their kids here says, I just want my kids to have a peaceful, calm childhood. That's my dream for them. I want them to grow up in a place that is a lovely place to grow up. So it's just really interesting because the profile of immigrants coming here is people who are seeking peace and who are wanting to just live their lives, in peace. And so I had my realtor was saying this to me once. He said, just it's so weird because I see all the news about the US, but every single person I've met here from the US is just so nice. I'm like, well, yeah, because you're selecting for people who didn't like living in the US and wanted to move to a peaceful place. Like we're the ones that didn't fit in there because we wanted peace, right? So anyway, that was a ramble that maybe nobody needed. 3 US couples in a dang, Jason. Yeah. How is my husband handling the guys giving the kiss on the cheek thing? They do that in Mexico, so it's totally fine with him. He's totally fine with it. I mean, that's even in Mexico, everybody would kiss me. That's not something, he's not like jealous if somebody kisses me, or he doesn't feel like it's weird to be kissed either. He's very affectionate. Yeah, exactly, Jason. I'm like, germophobic, like, yeah, I've said that. If you're germophobic or homophobic, don't move here. Okay. How can I send a personal message? On my website, which is the same as my handle here, CassieTheEnglishTeacher.com. If you scroll to the bottom, there's like a contact me page, or if you're on the Uruguay page, there is like a Calendly link to set up a one-on-one consultation. And I do always say over and over again, I try to put as much, that's why I do these. Like, I don't want somebody to have to pay me to ask a question ever. But if you feel like it would be helpful, I have that. Or you can just send me an email that way. Yep. Okay. You got about 2 minutes to ask another question. And then I am going to go to bed because it's been a long weekend. As my kids argue downstairs. Okay. Going once. Going twice. Okay, guys. Ciao, ciao. Thanks for coming. I'll see you in 2 weeks. And hopefully next week I'll have a great video about the education system here. Be great. Love you guys. Bye.